So my name is Cynde Iverson. I'm the bassoonist, and this is...
I'm James Smith, and I am the oboist.
And we are members of the Wind Soloists of New York. Well, the Wind Soloists of New York is a group of probably some of the best wind players in New York City, and we get together to play not only quartets, trios, duos, solos, but we can also do some of the larger woodwind pieces, 8 woodwinds, octets, nonettes, and so we play a huge variety of music, which is great fun for us. Sometimes it's not always the literature that we get to play on a more regular basis when we play in orchestras. And so we've just finished a tour where we were in Griffin, Georgia, Monmouth, Illinois, and now lovely Muskegon, Michigan, and we are back to New York tomorrow.
Since we are 4 wind players, at least on this mini tour, most of the repertoire that was written for us comes from the 20th century in France. And so we tend to play a fair amount of French wind music, and that's a lot of fun because the composers really attempted to tease out all the different possibilities from each instrument in terms of colors and styles and characters. So there's a lot to tackle for us. And what's also fun is that we go from maybe a quartet, and then we'll play a trio, and then maybe one of us will play a solo, so we can sort of mix and match. It's very very flexible and very fluid, and that makes programming a concert a lot of fun. It makes it have a lot of variety for us and for the audience. It means that the audience can get to know the various individuals in different contexts, so whether that's playing a solo or playing in a trio or in a quartet. So it's not the same like in a string quartet. You'd have, maybe 4 different quartets, all the same people, but 4 different pieces on one concert. This is all a little bit more potpourri, and that's always fun.
Yeah, and it's great for the audience to hear us as wind players in a more soloistic manner. That most people, if they only hear an orchestra, maybe hear the occasional solo from a wind player. But here, you really get to hear the bassoon or the oboe or the clarinet or flute in a much more intimate setting, so it's great. Let's see, I perform a lot with the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra, with the Orchestra of St. Luke's, with the American Ballet Theater. I teach at SUNY Purchase in New York, and most of my summers are spent performing. I'm a member of the North Country Chamber Players, and so I'm usually up in Franconia, New Hampshire, playing up there in the summer. And that's how James and I know each other, actually, from Orpheus and playing in New York.
Yeah. So, and I play in Orpheus and St. Luke's, and I play a lot of contemporary music in New York. So there are some new groups that have formed in the last 10 years. A group called the International Contemporary Ensemble that's half based in Chicago and half based in New York. Another group called the Talia Ensemble. So we all tend to, as wind players, we tend to take advantage of the variety that a big city like New York offers the musician. It certainly makes for a hectic existence.
Well, what's also fun about it is that my schedule can change day to day, week to week, and that every week I might be playing something new. So it's a lot of fun learning all the new music and sometimes playing things that we've played before, and with new people makes it sort of a new, wonderful experience.
I had the great pleasure of recording in February a jazz album with an amazing saxophone player named Miguel Zenon, and it was his album, but he brought in 10 or 12 wind players, and it was very Gil Evans, very sort of sketches of Spain, where we would be playing these sort of very cool chords, and he'd be playing on top. And that's the kind of thing that it's like a palate cleanser if you spend all of your time playing chamber music or playing a lot of contemporary music, and then you get to do something a little off the beaten path or in a totally different genre and sort of loosens you up a little bit. It's a lot of fun. So in a way, the cities like New York or LA, they allow for that kind of cross-genre work.
I think our group has a huge educational bent that we'd love to get out and do more in the school systems and in communities to make classical music, and especially wind music, more accessible to kids. I know lots of band kids play instruments, but maybe certainly not, I haven't heard wind music like this before, and so I think that's something that this group is thinking for in the future. You know, it can be difficult at times. You know, I have 3 children. I perform in New York a lot. I tour. Actually, my youngest daughter is with me on tour this time because she's got school holiday this week, and so she loves to travel and had never been to Illinois, Michigan, or Georgia before, so she gets to add those to her repertoire of where she's been in the world. You know, it's a challenge. But I love what I do. I love the fact that every day or week my life is different, and that I get the challenge of learning new music all the time, playing with different great musicians all the time. It's a challenge, but one that I absolutely love. We have a management company, MCM Management, Tom Gallant, and I think that is the best way for people to get a hold of us. Well, hopefully our enthusiasm for not only playing together and this music comes across as we play, and we really do have a great time. Yeah. So we hope that comes across.
You know, one of the great pleasures of going on tours like this is that when you're in New York and a musician, you often play a lot in New York, and you're playing, if not for the same audience, and the same kind of audience, and it's really wonderful to come to much smaller towns and find enthusiastic audiences and people who are really glad to be there and to be and it's fun to be a part of bringing music to a place that maybe doesn't have music all the time every night, like in New York or in LA. It's really and we get to see parts of the country that we've never seen before.
Never seen.
So it's exciting.
Yeah.